podcast session. So thank you guys for being here, and thank you for accommodating the date. I knew about 3 weeks ago that I was going to be in Twitch Rivals, and I got so excited that I totally forgot and realized that we had last night, Thursday night podcast scheduled, and I was like, oh shoot. So thank you guys for being accommodating and swapping it out to the next day. I really do appreciate it, especially with the time coming down to the wire. But yeah, let's get this thing started. First of all, like I said, thank you guys for being here. A little bit about me. I was a Minecraft streamer for about 4 years. Now I'm a full-time Balatro creator, doing all the stuff over there. I'll probably still play Minecraft at least once a week. I love playing on the bakery and on Paper Hats SMP still. So still doing some stuff off to the side, mostly for fun though. Minecraft will never leave me. Minecraft is what got me streaming, and the community, I still absolutely love it. I love each and every single one of you guys, and I consider you guys very, very close friends. So it has a very, very good place in my heart, I should say. And I will see you guys again anyways during what is it? Extra Life, Last Life for Extra Life. So, and I know some of you guys like Dirtin and Husky. You call you Crystal or Husky or Crystal Husky. I always mean to ask. Either one's good. All right.
I call both.
I know we briefly ran into each other in Last Life, and then obviously Sherbert and I played at an SMP together for a little while. And Anderson, this might be the first time meeting you, so it's a pleasure to meet you and have you. I hope you guys are enjoying the server, because yeah, it's a great event, lots of charity. Even if there's a slight competition involved, and I know we're all pretty competitive. At the end of the day, it's one massive charity event going to an amazing cause, and you guys have done some absolutely wild numbers that has absolutely stunned the mods. I believe Math Girl and Sydney can yell at me if I'm wrong, but I think you guys are already $10,000 more than last year, or we're gaining maybe on that number, which is absolutely wild to even think about. Usually when we have an event like this, we might have a target of, hey, let's do $1,000 better than last year, right? Or $2,000. But to come on out and do $10,000 more is absolutely insane. So, and I also preface this because I know some of you guys are live. It doesn't matter if you guys can donate or not. Just being a viewer in everybody's chat, it goes a long ways. It keeps those numbers up high enough so maybe it catches the attention of somebody else that can come on in and does want to donate. And it leads to some really amazing things. And yeah, Math Girl says we are over the 10K more than last year now, which is absolutely insane. 10.5K more. Wow. Yeah, that's absolutely insane. So you guys have absolutely rocked it. And at the end of the day, yeah, like I said, there's a competition going off, but making people's lives better is the goal, and that's what you guys have absolutely done. So, pat yourselves and chat on the back for that.
Wait, there's a competition?
Supposedly, Sherbert.
Oops.
You're
Heard
supposed
rumors.
to, whoever eats the most cookies. That's what people really don't know. At the end of the day,
I gotta get cookies.
all we do at the end of the day is we pull all the stats and we see which player has eaten the most cookies, and whoever that is technically wins. So
I can't though. Wait, no, I can. I'm on a carb diet. I can eat cookies. Cat, don't spill the wheel of chaos. I need this.
But
chat, hear me out.
This? Oh, here we go.
Don't hear him. Well,
chat, hear me out. Hear me out.
I need $4 more to read 1,000. So I guess, man.
You're only $4 off of 1,000.
Yeah, dude, yeah. Last year I only hit 350. The chat has shown up in droves.
Holy, yeah. When I left
Apparently,
earlier, I think you were what 60 off of 100, right?
yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, no, you got me. That was before you donated.
Well, no, you were at 850. I thought when I donated.
I don't remember. It's been a whole blur. I've been streaming since Tuesday.
Well, to be fair, too, I was reading your number on your stream. And I know you were saying that you didn't have it updated, so maybe it wasn't updated correctly either. So,
Yeah, no, I have to manually refresh the browser source for it to update the bar, which is obnoxious.
gotcha. Well, hey, sometimes I know I feel that. But yeah, let's get this show on the road. I'm going to give you guys some information really, really quickly, and we'll start there. Um, feel free to ask
Um,
me.
What are
Feel
you
free to
doing,
ask me.
Sherb?
I got a zoo to
feel free
build. I'm build it wherever I'm at.
You need moss blocks, sir. Not sand. What we'll do is we're going to start off with our name. We're just going to go around and do some basic introductions. I'd like to start off doing your name, where you're from. You don't have to be specific on that, and you don't even have to say it at all if you're not comfortable with that. And then the second part is I would like to have you guys tell me how did you get into Minecraft and why do you stream? So that'll kind of be what the intro of each player will look like. Dirtin, you happen to be sitting the closest to me, which is the person that I typically start with. So are you comfortable going first?
Sure, yeah. So my name's Justdirtin JD. Most people just call me Dirtin. I'm from Kansas, but currently live in Wyoming, where I'm an instructor at a trade school. What got me into Minecraft? I would say YouTube, looking. I think I was just scrolling and came across one of the hermits, to be honest. And then started watching most of those guys. Got on a site to find an SMP to play on, and the rest is history. And then why do I stream? I stream just to stream, but there's no I'm not here for the followers. I only have like 300 and something. But I try to do all the charity events that I can. So that's and if I'm gonna play Minecraft, I might as well make some content, right?
No, I love that. And I think that's how I met you the first time was on Last Life. You know,
Yeah.
it was a massive charity event. And at the end of the day, I absolutely love that, right? And I think that's how a lot of people kind of get started on that is um, viewer wise, we kind of maybe even just reach out to our friends for the most part. And that's where that joy kind of comes into as it gets started out. And I love that feel even within Minecraft. Um, but yeah, no, as far as these events have been not only just a blast, but like you said, for a good cause as well. And I pushed the wrong button. I pushed F1 on the wrong button. And so no, I absolutely love that. And it's been awesome getting to know you, especially in these events, because yeah, absolutely. Sherbert.
Yes.
Not only do you have to tell us what your name is, can you tell us how you got your name?
My name is Professor Sherbert. Originally, I used to be used to be a scoutmaster for my church organization, and they nicknamed me for whatever reason. 11-year-old boys decided to nickname me Sherbert. Um,
Like no context? Like I feel like you had to have been eating ice cream or something. Oh no, it's like a real name pun. I do know this, right?
there's a combination of letters that end up doxing me if I give the full.
Yes, correct. That's
Okay.
right. I remember that. I do remember that. That's right.
So it's a little convoluted, but yeah. Anyway, so as I was looking into trying to make a brand and name. Having had a little bit of advertising, one thing that I did was like research some ideas and look up on YouTube and even Google and just trying to figure out what name would be decently unique and not come up with a bunch of other results. I knew that Sherbert was among them. I knew Brother Sherbert was a little odd for the public because,
Right.
you know, we're not church. And I realized that a lot of people were kept asking me for help on Redstone on the S&P I was on. I've since upgraded my company and feel like I got a little left behind, but um, people don't need my help as much. But so when I got started, I realized the name Professor Sherbert. I couldn't find any other um, branding that was using that, and so I just kind of latched onto that, and that's kind of how it started. It's like, okay, if I'm Professor Sherbert, then I think the branding has three colors, but I also realized I wanted to do kind of a green screen, so I kind of opted out for lime and went with more of a blue, so that if I want to use green screen with my colors, I can.
Right.
Um, and then of course found out later you can use magenta or whatever.
Right.
Like,
That's
okay,
what we do for the fun fact. Not that it needs to be said, but when we use the scroll, shoot, I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but you know the all advancement speedrunners like Feinberg, they
oh
have the
okay,
stuff that scrolls on their screen. Well, there's so
right,
much green in Minecraft, they recommend do not use green, so they have us use magenta.
oh there you go. Anyway, yeah. So I mean that's how I kind of came up with my branding and name was a combination of this makes sense. It's a nickname that several of the kids had given me, and I've had for a long time. It's a lot of fun. It's something I could easily remember that I'm called because I've been
Right.
called that for years. Um, yeah, and I there were other questions.
Yeah, how did you get into Minecraft, and then why do you stream?
Well, originally Minecraft on the Xbox is where I started playing Minecraft itself.
Hmm.
Um, it came out on Xbox. There was a demo for it, and I remember my kids were very little at the time. I think it was just my older two, maybe my third one was born. Um, anyway, so I used to sit on the couch holding a baby with a controller in my hand, just kind of like bouncing the baby, holding the controller, and Minecraft just became my Zen garden, if you will. I remember the first time loading it in, and nighttime hit, and there were monsters, and I'm like, "This is bad." So I dug into the side of a mountain. I didn't know how to make lights. I didn't know anything. So I just sat in the dark and kept mining a dirt block to see, is it light? Is it light yet?
Yep.
No, it's not. And I couldn't see anything. It was awful. And then we started hearing zombie noises, and my kids were freaking out and crying. And and Minecraft became that scary, scary game, according to my kids.
Yep.
Um, I've come a little ways since then. Um, Getting into streaming, honestly, I started doing YouTube because, like Durton said, mostly during the pandemic, we ran out of things to watch
Right.
because they stopped producing original content.
Right.
And my kids had seen Hermitcraft, and it became our family ritual to watch something that we didn't already know what was going to happen, and we enjoyed it. And the more I watched them, the more I was like, I could do that. And
Right.
then I ended up hearing Exuma say, because you end up catching Exuma streams or things, and everyone's like, "Can I join Hermitcraft?"
Right.
No. Make your own SMP, do your own thing. And I went, yeah, I could do that. And that's kind of how I got started. The more I started doing YouTube and I started getting into streaming a little bit, I realized as a father of four, I don't have the time, and it was getting a little frustrated with how long it was taking me to produce videos. And I realized that streaming was something I could focus on and was seeing a little bit more of a positive outcome for a lot less time commitment, if that
Right.
makes sense. I still have desires to make
What's
some
up,
tutorial videos and
Ashley?
stuff. If for some reason life ever slows down for a half a second, But yeah, that's basically how I got into it. Am I missing anything?
No, but did Sydney give you guys tissues?
Yeah.
I've got tissues.
Yeah. There's some
I
in the
was
box.
like, I was like,
Yep.
they're just prepping from last week apparently.
You need a tissue?
I was like, where are you going? I forgot I'm in free cam. I was like, I'm up here, guy.
I mean, this entire podcast, SeaDubbs has just been staring into my soul.
I
I'm like, wow, this is intense.
My day's going good. How's yours, Ashley?
No, I love that, and I think going back to about the pandemic thing was, I'm sorry, not the pandemic thing, but what X said, right? Which was, hey, if you want to do it, go do it yourself.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about that is you kind of, you don't have to do it exactly like how Hermitcraft was. You can do it just the way you want to, invite the people that you want. And that makes that experience a little bit more fun as well when you first start as well.
Well, one thing I've always loved about Minecraft, and I know plenty of people have said this, is that there are so many ways to play the game. You can be on SMP with all the same mods and play with people who could play completely different than you.
Yep.
And it's perfectly, okay. I can't play with my kids, but that's another issue. If I play with my kids, I have to accept this doesn't mean anything.
Right. Yeah.
Because, oh my goodness, the chaos that shows up.
That's half the fun, though. I remember, too, because I remember being around. X wasn't the one that said it was Pixel Riffs, actually, that said something very similar along the lines of you don't have to join something, do it yourself. And I remember even back during the pandemic, I didn't have a lot of money. Obviously, none of us did, really. And so I even went out and got a cheeky little realm. And, if you're playing with 6 or 7 peeps that are learning the game and don't do a lot of redstone, the realm worked out really, really, really nice. And, that's how we ended up getting started. And ironically speaking, we were all so into Hermitcraft during the pandemic, we even played the same seed as Hermitcraft, just to kind of have that experience, without, I don't know. So, yeah, I've always loved that aspect of it. So, absolutely, Sherbert.
Yeah.
Husky, what are you thinking over there?
I'm Crystal or Husky, whatever you want to call me. I'm from Pennsylvania, and I went to Minecraft because I've seen a few friends play it, and I am one that instantly gets hooked into games very easily. And I played it, and I instantly got hooked. And you can do. I just love that you can do anything you want in Minecraft, and you just have fun, do whatever you want, build whatever you want, and you can learn from others. I've learned a lot from others on here.
Right.
So much fun.
It's a wonderful sandbox game, and I think that's where, even myself, why I was so attracted to the game was you like you said, you can pretty much do anything you want, build wherever you want, and I was a big fan of recreating things from other games. That's what I was a big fan of, and so to take another game like Minecraft and bring that over into Minecraft and just build upon it and have fun was always a really, really cool. What update did you start in, Husky?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I played
always
I
ask that
started playing
because-
10 years ago.
Okay, so you are a veteran then.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love
I
that.
started
And
on my phone.
Oh wow.
And then I got into Xbox 360 and Xbox One. Then it came out with Bedrock.
Yep.
I started playing on there. Then I got switched when I got PC. I started playing on PC.
I was going to say, one thing I do miss about the old, the original days when I was playing is I didn't pay attention to the updates. I didn't see what was coming. Just one day, you go to log in, and, oh, we're updating. Ooh, I wonder what they added.
Right.
And then jump into the game going, oh, that's cool. And I'll be honest, I didn't know about the Ender Dragon for like 8 years.
Right.
Like,
That
I don't
was
know if it was there before then or not, but
That's been a fun question that I've been enjoying to ask a few people because I find, believe it or not, we've had a lot of people that are like OGs, 10, 13 years into this game. And we've had a lot of people that are maybe a little bit newer. I think we had somebody answer last week that they started in 1.20.
whoa.
And I was like, wait, what? And they're like, yeah, no, I'm a baby. I'm like, gotcha. And I think I started around 1.14, which was right before COVID era.
That's about when
Most
I
of the people
started
that,
too.
yeah, yeah, and that seems to be the butter zone for so many creators because it was right before the Nether update, which was my opinion, and I guess the opinion of a lot of people, which was their first so-called major update that changed certain mechanics of the game. Obviously, there are things like Elytra and end cities and stuff like that that were added before that, but I don't know. The Nether update, I always felt like set that bar for future updates, as it has. Um, so, yeah, it's been fun to kind of see where people started with the game. Now, why do you stream, Husky?
I'm still just trying to like meet other people and have fun.
Yeah,
Like, I met like a lot of friends from streaming, and it's just been so much fun just hanging out with everyone, collabing, playing other games and Minecraft together, and yeah.
it's a wonderful portal, is what I used to call it, because when I started streaming, originally it was a way for me and my close friends to just kind of hang out. And I've been saying this story every single podcast week, but ironically, I wanted to do YouTube. That was my goal. I wanted to make YouTube videos. I wanted nothing to do with streaming at all. And however, I really suck at speech. Like speaking, anything like that, I'm really bad with it. So I was like, well, maybe I'll try streaming. I won't have a lot of viewers except for my friends. So why don't I just stream so I can practice speaking to, chat and my friends and get better at it. And that way for my YouTube content, life will go a little bit more smoothly. Well, fast forward a couple of years, I decided to, join an SMP, movement, which is, Music Man's community, where I, kind of live nowadays. And I met so many amazing people over there. And like you just said, Husky, one portal leads to another portal of friends, which leads to more friends and more friends. And next thing you know, you've just got this massive portal of streaming is just this good form of mental security and just support of friends. And I love that aspect of it. So, Anderson,
That's me.
that would be you. How are you? What is your
I'm doing,
name? And yeah,
well, I'm doing good. My name is well, I go by Mr. Anderson. My name is Vinny.
okay,
A lot of people here know my real name, so I'm
yeah,
not bashful about that.
same here, same here. Yeah,
Um, if you're born in my generation, my username is something you'll recognize from your middle school days.
right, right, correct.
But I go by Vinny, old man. You can pretty much call me anything but late for dinner.
There
Um,
you go.
let's see. I have been playing Minecraft only for a few years. My initial intro was around 1.18,
Mhm.
but I actually first played a 1.12 version, a modded version, obviously, with a friend of mine. It's a really cool ocean block theme. So that got me into Minecraft. I loved all the nuances and mechanics that came with it. Hence why I'm a big fan of Redstone.
Mm.
For those that have explored Cyan's base, we may or may not have some redstone hidden in some places.
Ooh, don't tell me. I get to do the full-on tour tomorrow.
Well, hopefully they've decorated the hidden rooms. If not, you can see where we started.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Streaming. I don't technically stream. I mean, yes, I do have a Twitch channel. I don't stream really. I started it because I was hanging out with some other streamers, and their chat wanted to see my point of view of the chaos I was causing.
Yeah.
So, it's one thing to hear somebody in the background squealing and running from a warden. It's another thing to see it firsthand.
Correct. Yep.
So, that is actually why I started sharing my screen or streaming during other streams.
I love that, and I laugh because when I originally started content, and I can say this out loud because people have seen it, but my username in Minecraft, in fact, you can still go see it, was Seawater11. That was just my handle for absolute years. And finally I realized, well, if I'm going to take this a little bit more seriously, I should probably lean away from that. I didn't have to. I just did for fun. And then, SeaDubbs was born, which technically is still the same thing, is what it was, just creatively done differently. I think Sherb knows that. But, yeah, no, so fully understand the name thing, because, yeah. But, well, heck yeah, no, awesome little introduction there. I've got some stuff lined up for you that might be a curveball for some of you.
I like a little baseball.
I figured, yeah, I mean, we need a little bit of sports.
Wait, I'm confused.
Right?
Aren't all balls curved?
No.
Why are you wearing
No,
my
Mine
head?
was square.
We're in Minecraft, sir. Have you
Oh,
seen it?
then how are you gonna make a curved ball?
Man,
You sports dorks.
this wasn't part of the script. No, I'm just kidding.
When do I stick to a script, SeaDubbs?
No, I'm just kidding.
Wait,
Okay,
did I
wait.
miss my script in the
Anderson-
mail?
Oh
When
no,
did I?
Anderson finished the first question, right? We have to
Yes.
switch sheets. Everyone switch sheets.
Oh, we're doing a seat shuffle? Okay.
Oh,
We
we're
gotta
doing
switch.
sheet
We gotta
shuffle?
switch. Musical chairs, go.
I like how Sherbert just grabs the seat closer to me,
With my head
knowing
on.
that the person closer to me goes first.
Oh,
Oh, I just chose this one because it was warm where Sherb
I
was
thought you
sitting.
were going the other way
Oh,
around.
that's fair.
Give me a quick second. I got a parrot.
No, go parent. I'll we can still start with Dirty, don't worry. I got a fun one anyways. This is the question that I've been asking every week. So we'll go into the fun question really quickly, and then I got some more serious ones for you guys. Then we got some more fun ones. But if you could add a new villager to the game, what would it be and what would it do?
Starting with me?
And Dirtin, yeah, I think starting with you, Dirtin, because
Sure.
Sherbert is parenting.
Sure. I was thinking about this a little bit. If you look at my bio in the Discord, kind of, it says that I like villagers. So I was, I think like a lumberjack villager,
Yep.
something to that effect. That would buy wood. Maybe that's where we could buy some better axes, boats, items like that. I don't know, staircases, but something like that to where, it's about one of the few ones that I think I would want to have because I use a lot of that stuff.
Right.
So that's kind of what I was thinking. Maybe a lumberjack. I think the skin would look cool too.
Yeah. We've been asking this question every week, and it's so funny because there's a couple questions that I'll ask that are new every week. There's a couple questions that I just don't ask. But this is one question that I've been asking every week because it's something really fun for me because I feel like when I started playing the game, it was during the villager update. And, I feel like since I've been playing this game, we've had a lot of new things come into the game, but no updates to the villagers except for the villager change that we'll talk about in a second. I'll get there. But yeah, Lumberjack, I think, has come up like 4 or 5 times. In fact, it's one of mine that I really agree should be added. Even on my short time on Autocraft, we had we could use a stone cutter, like with wood. And I love that aspect of it, and I'd love to see something like that come into vanilla. Because, yeah, it was a lifesaver on many systems and ways, but it also just allows you to interact with the new villagers, whereas, yes, you can either trade in wood, you can buy wood, maybe some saplings, like you said, maybe better axes. And then a lot of people even recommended, too, even if you include new villagers, excuse me, would be, I think axes are being sold by weaponsmiths. Yeah. And so maybe you could replace the axe with something else for a weaponsmith. Now, again, that might be when new things get added or vice versa. But I did love the idea that people had that process around a lumberjack as well, because it's a really, really good idea. Sherb, I think you're back.
Yes, I'm back.
The question is, if you could add a new villager into the game, what would it be? And what would it do?
Goodness.
Dogs are already in Minecraft.
Yeah. See, I know I'm an odd duck because I take the game for what it is and just try to figure out what I can do with what's already there. And I work well with constraints.
Right.
So I don't spend a lot of time thinking about what could be.
No,
But adding a villager, I feel like if there was
well, let me ask you.
there's a way, there's if we could if there was a way to make it still feel PG,
Yeah.
make some form of villager that like affected the other villagers in a way that like made them easier to trade with, if that makes sense. Like it would go around and like increase their mood.
So are you bringing like a Stardew relationship into this? Whereas,
I guess so.
You could have heart relationships with the villagers to respond.
Or a Grand Theft Auto relationship.
Well, I mean, like a female villager.
Oh, well, okay then.
or like a cook or someone that like, provides a service to the villagers and they have a better life. View.
Walls.
Yeah, something like that, like a cook or something that like serves the villagers and makes them maybe re-up their trades no matter the time of day.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Like improves their mood in some way. But yeah, I realize as I'm trying to think about that and say it, then it might sound a little bit less than PG.
No,
I'm sure there's a way to market it.
No, definitely, especially like thinking of some other similar games like that where you have like a little bit of a heart bar.
Yeah, because I think that would be kind of interesting because it'd mean you would need to make an area where the villager could probably roam around.
Yeah,
like be super rare, so you'd have to change up how villager trades work, so that a villager, at least one villager, could walk around to the other villagers and renew their trades.
Thanks for hanging out. We're just in the podcast with Mr. Anderson, Crystal Husky, myself, Professor Sherb, and SeaDubbs. Jump right back in.
I'm starting from Sherber. Are you guys mostly a vanilla player or a modded player? I know Sherbert's mostly vanilla, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
So
not saying you don't
I
play both. I'm just saying which one do you
right.
play more? Yes.
I don't necessarily seek out modded itself,
Mhm.
but I have been branching out and trying some. My old man brain has a hard time keeping up with new mechanics.
Right.
Like I still like to play Halo rather than Fortnite because I've been playing Halo for
That's
25
fair.
years or so.
That's fair.
Um, and so like when I play Minecraft, I'm like, these are the blocks. This is how I do things. And it's like, no, there's all these other blocks. And like we played some like Sky Factory or whatever. And like you get iron from trees. I don't understand what the lore of this is.
Oh,
What's
wow.
happening?
Right. That's
Like
valid.
you got to get uranium. There's no mines. What are you talking about?
Now, Dirtin, you're mostly modded nowadays, right? Or no, you 100% vanilla?
No, it's kind of split. So
Yeah, okay.
playing some. I fell in love with Vault Hunters. To be honest,
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then my hardcore world is, I would call it slightly modded, but it doesn't add anything. It's just like quality of life modded.
Right.
And then like the Wandering Trader, I make my own pack and those kinds of things. So I think it's a good 50-50 split of either like Vault Hunters or Vanilla Plus, we'll call it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's where I live. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what about you, Husky?
I'm the same. I've played mainly vanilla, but I do play with some mods too, on like my hardcore world. I have like a lot of mods and data packs.
That makes
I play
sense.
with.
Like
That
when I
makes-
say vanilla, when we did the voting, the April Fool's snapshot, and we lost like things like zeros, and I was like, this is terrible. I would never do this on a regular basis. But
Yeah.
going full modded into like Sky Factory, Vault Hunters was a lot of fun. I'm trying to remember there was another one that I enjoyed doing, but yeah, modded plus is a good way to put it. Or
Anderson, what about you?
vanilla plus.
I'm a little biased in this situation. So I'm a modded
Yeah.
player, but
Okay.
I'll go where the community is that I enjoy playing with.
Right.
But as a programmer and a developer in real life, I enjoy modded to see how crazy people can turn such a well-rounded game in of itself into
Absolutely.
yet another type of game.
And that's what I love about modding. That's why I feel like I need to explore it a little bit. Now, time in my life obviously isn't there, but I heavily involved. Like, I love watching it, so I can fully understand that. Appreciate it. So going back through to this, I was asking that because I know some people who play a lot of modded might get some different ideas with the villagers. But Husky, if you could add a new villager, what would it be and what would it do?
Or like a redstone villager.
Mhm.
You can sell that they sell like redstone components and stuff.
Yeah.
It's easy to get some redstone things. Especially like I'm trying to like learn redstone, do more redstone things. It'll be easy, especially like, get dispensers because they're a pain to make. It'd be like nice to have like a redstone villager.
Yeah, the redstone villagers come up a little bit. We had an idea, or somebody had an idea that was a little bit split, where, we have the cleric that attempts to do, a potion. Really is what that is for. But then there's some other things that are within the cleric that people just don't, is maybe necessary, like the lapis and whatnot. So somebody was thinking maybe like a wizard village that allowed a villager to have more redstone-y capabilities, but also potentially tease other things that aren't redstone, but can be, like skulk sensors, or or just the use of amethyst, and stuff like that. So I love that aspect of wanting to be able to have a better access to redstone because, yeah. Also, is that a Sydney head? How did you get a Sydney head? No. I gotta say focus. Anderson, what about you? you could add a villager. What would it be?
So my villager is kind of along the same lines as Sherb's, but with a touch of what Crystal was talking about. Minecraft villagers that would teach you different aspects of the game mechanics,
Right.
instead of just giving you items, because there's not a lot of instruction in the game itself.
Correct. Yep.
So I would really enjoy a villager that would teach you things or help you understand small mechanics of the game.
Yeah, and I love that idea because I know Sherbert just mentioned, I know it was maybe a few more years ago at the time, albeit, maybe he had the game for a while and didn't know there was even a dragon in the game, or didn't know there were certain features that existed. And this has come up before already a little bit, but yeah, being able to have maybe a villager kind of narrate and clue you on some things a little bit more than what Minecraft already does. They do a really good job. We got GG's Rocket. I see that. It was just the behavior of, yes, Minecraft does hint some things in there, but I do think there could be some better teaching of the lore or even how to do some things without just escaping to YouTube 24/7.
Yeah, and they could even tie it into like the advancement system they have.
Exactly.
Maybe a villager that explains why you get these advancements and how to better understand the uses of the progress through the game.
Yeah. No, I heavily agree. Absolutely agree. So swinging things back around to a little bit more of a serious perspective, and we're doing really good on time, so you guys will get a lot of fun questions here, I think, too. What I want to do is I'm going to prep you guys for a question while you guys are discussing this question with me, so it might be a little bit of multitasking. I was a little bit busy this week, and I forgot to let you guys know. One of the questions that we do ask on here is, what is the proudest build that you have in Minecraft? Some people just want to describe it. Others show it. So if you guys have any screenshots of some of your favorite builds that you want to put right inside of the chat here, or DM me, totally acceptable. You guys can begin that process of looking for something if you want to. If you want to describe it, that's totally fine. For now, though, I have a question that I want to ask, and I'm hoping I'm not spoiling for some things for you. But question, we'll start with Dirtin. If you, sorry, let me rephrase it. What's the one big project that you've always wanted to do in Minecraft, but never have done it just because of the sheer size and time that you would have to put into it?
I want to recreate my version of the Ninja Turtles 2 subway layer.
I'm on board.
I started this dig in my hardcore world and then realized, holy moly, like how big this is.
Yeah.
And I'm not a creative guy. I don't build in creative. To be honest, I look at myself as not a builder, but I jumped into creative and just built like the archways and the stairs, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be huge for what I wanted. So that's a project that's been on the back burner for, I'd say, a year and a half now.
Right.
Just because of the sheer size of what it's gonna be.
I love that. And I've always, and I kind of hinted to this earlier when we were doing intros, but when I played a lot of Minecraft, one of the big things that I absolutely loved, and Sherbert will remember this, but I love building and replicating things in the game from another video game. So the very first SMP on Movement, when I was on there, my first base was an entire recreation of Crash Bandicoot, the fourth game that they made for the PS4.
Oh, that's awesome.
Called Tranquility Falls. And it ended up being one of my favorite bases that I've ever made in my life. And then eventually I ended up recreating the Cortex Castle because of the we had some weird world generation that happened there, and I abused it. I was like, heck yes, I'm putting a massive castle. And yeah, when I was on Autocraft, I did everything Spyro related. I had a lot of inspiration from that video game there. So when I hear people say, yeah, there's a TV show or a video game that they get that inspiration from, I'm like, heck yes. I absolutely love that. So
It's fun to put your own twist on
Correct.
on what you
Exactly.
see, right? Like, because
Yep.
in that movie, I'm like, oh, that layout doesn't seem like it works. So let's see if I
Right.
can move some stuff around or just add my touch to it.
Yeah. No, and I think that's what I love the most about it is you are able to put your own twist. It also, I mean, you might be able to relate to this, but it also puts you out of your comfort zone.
100%.
Yeah, and at first, like, it's daunting, but like as you get going and trust the process with it, you realize that's why you're enjoying the process even.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Sherbert, what about you?
I mean, I'm scrambling trying to see if I can find a picture. But
Oh, you're fine.
I can't find a picture of my bath, my starter bath.
Your bath?
My starter bath. I made
Your bath? Like a
my
fish?
starter bath. Yeah, I made a starter base. There was a giant fish in the lake.
Of course you did.
Of course I did. But that all started because chat is constantly, the people that have been with my channel for a long time make fun of me for, I would contend, unfairly saying that I never make a base. It all started probably.
Oh, that's fair. On Autocraft, you just lived in Crink's starter house.
Hey, my base was beautiful. You know this.
It was because Crink built it.
Well, no, Crink didn't build my area. Come on, he didn't even decorate his area. He just put a bunch of spruce up. Come on, I had the atrium with nibbles in it and the little snail. I had a fully working furnace system and everything I needed in there, including 2 armor equippers. He put up walls and some chests. I'm just saying, Crink lived in my attic. But before that, even before that, we did that. We had planned that originally. But I was playing, trying to figure out how to create content, kind of, struggling with the time management and everything, and like building a base. Why? What's a base for? It stores your stuff. I have a villager house with barrels in it. That's where I store my stuff. It's fine. So people took to spamming my area. It was basically an industrial district with signs. There must have been like 40 signs saying, "Where's the base? Seems like a good spot for a base. Is this a base?" Like all things everywhere. It was a hilarious episode on an SMP called Vision Craft, which was content creators and non-content creators mix. It was before I got on Autocraft. I'm gonna put this in there. So because they made fun of my base, I guess this isn't gonna give you enough time, but they said I needed to build a base, so I built a giant bass guitar with my sherbet colors.
This isn't a fish.
This is not the fish. I built a bass guitar.
That's amazing. This is actually really cool. This is hilarious. I love it.
And so, I told people like, yeah, I made a bass. Like, you did? And then they show up and go, that's not a bass. I'm like, yeah, it is. And I think I have a thumbnail of the with the starter bass in the background.
I absolutely love that.
So it's kind of become a thing of Sherbert makes joke builds, not necessarily actual bases. Here, this one is the
It's all
thumbnail.
about what you have fun with, though. I think that's what I
Oh,
love
yeah.
about this.
Yeah, you can see in the background of this thumbnail, back when we were scamming the tough business. But in the background, you can see the
This thing right here. Yeah.
starter bass.
That is hilarious. It looks pretty cool too.
That actually goes really far down to the ground, and I didn't realize the ocean where we were building was way shallower than what I had built. So I had to mine out a bunch, but it goes down inside, and there's even a starter shack inside that's a base to live in.
That's really cool.
I'm sad I
like
don't actually have videos. I mean, there's a video.
It's a killer thumbnail too, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I love this. Now, on the second half of that, Sherb,
Only on second Wednesdays with a monkey.
oh gosh.
I'm sorry. What are we talking about?
I'm sorry, that one took me off guard.
That's what I'm here for.
What's that one big project though that you've always wanted to do in Minecraft that you never have done?
Oh, so I keep saying I'm going to try to do it. I have ideas for how I want the redstone to work, but I want to remake Battle Creek from Halo 2 in
Nice.
Minecraft.
Absolutely.
I have ideas for making like a dispenser with a head for a flag, and so when you go in and step on a pressure plate, it'll pop the head on you, and you got to get the head back to your base. So I
Yep.
can actually make capture the flag from Halo in Minecraft, and I wanted to like do it in a mesa and have it be the map. It's been a daunting, intimidating idea.
Right.
We should talk.
Yeah. So that's kind of been the thing that I keep thinking about doing and not quite getting the drive to do. Wondering, being concerned about whether or not I can actually accomplish that. Because in all honesty, I just freed up my time at the end of last year from
Correct.
actually making videos.
Correct.
So I showed up to Dragonfell kind of late in the season.
Right.
And then there, we weren't sure if we were going to keep going or reset. So I didn't feel like 6 months was going to be enough to do a big project like that. But I think I'll probably tackle that next time there's a reset, so I can devote time to it.
Agreed, because that does sound amazing.
But that would be definitely a season long, whether it's a year and a half or a year project.
Right. No, that makes sense too. And I mean, I think that's why sometimes having a hardcore world, or not even a hardcore world, just a long play world that you have for your own personal self that you're probably not going to reset is always less stressful for some people, because it's like, okay, those ideas are massive and I never know if I'm going to finish on an SMP. I should do that. Shove it there. And I think that's what I'm trying to slowly do in my mind. Of course, I just love playing on SMP.
Right.
And so, like, for me, that's the other thing. It's like, someday I'll get to that point. But, no, I love that. Sounds wicked fun. Now, Husky, you've got some. Why don't we go over what you have here? I am looking at this amazing castle at the moment. Tell us a little bit about this.
This is on my solo world, not my parkour world. And I decided to build a castle to have my storage room, basically my base set, and set up and where I start and end streams at. And it's fun. I use like dead coral in it. First time using dead coral.
Mm.
And it just adds like a little bit of
nice
texture.
It does. It works. It looks so great with that texture. I love it.
And I've always wanted like a skulk roof, and then the skulk with the gray and the blues all looks amazing together.
This is
turned out
cool
really, really
because-
good.
Yeah, because I love the whole prismarine warped wood combination, right? And especially since having the copper blocks, right? People have had a lot to use within that color, but being able now to have that sculpt block to give it some of that contrast, a little bit of a darker color, and really make it pop a little bit more. I haven't seen a whole lot of people do that, and I absolutely love it when they do, because yeah, it brings that contrast of that build out more, and it makes it less boring. And you've nailed this. I absolutely. And Skulk is internally probably a top 5 block. I don't use it a whole lot, but it's a favorite block. I just like the way it looks. I'm currently working on one of my SMPs, the interior of a massive castle. It's sitting in a perimeter, and I'm hoping to do a lot of the interior roofs eventually with Skulk. I think that would be a really, really cool thing. But this is given a lot of inspiration too on its own because very, very, very cool. I also am gonna I love the greenery.
Yeah.
Like I say this all the time. My favorite thing about building is terraforming, or adding this type of stuff to a build as well. And so I always get a big appreciation for terraforming and just greenery that goes on a building. And you did it really well with this because it's not overly done, and it's not like you just went around and shoved a few leaves here and there. You know what I mean? This was it was very well balanced. I love the actual I love the actual vine, or the wrapping around, I should say, of that as well. Absolutely nailed this.
Hmm.
And then you had another one here. This looks like your internal nether portal. This is cool. You got a lot of floating stuff here.
Yeah, it's like a little nether hub with like those look like stars.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
And those frog lights surrounded by glass.
Yeah, it's a fog floor. With like a little like walkway and just like the big tunnels.
I
Different
love
directions.
that. I always love creative nether hubs because, let's be real, I've never built one.
This is the only one I've built so far. This one took so long to make.
Yeah. I love the colors too. I know sometimes we tend to pick, red, blue, yellow, green, right? We just kind of pick a bland concrete, but to be able to come into this and pick 4 colors that are different yet work together, and really make it pop like that. I love that color palette. It's really cool. What is the violet? Purple color. Like, what block was that? Do you remember?
The one on the left?
Yes, on the right, sorry.
On the right? I think that's magenta.
Bottom right, by your name.
Oh, and the star's my name?
Yes.
I have no idea. Just pick random colors.
Yeah, I was like, oh wait.
I thought you meant the carpet.
Yes, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm talking about the carpet in the bottom right hand corner, like where your name is.
That's blue.
It is blue. Okay. I couldn't really tell, but I was like, I knew it was nether, so I know some colors kind of get manipulated a little bit by the light there. That's cool because it looks more like a purple.
Yeah, it was shaders.
Yeah, that too. No, I like that. It really, really comes around to it. I like the magma cube in the back there.
Just chilling.
Now, what about you? Do you have a project that you've always wanted to do, but just haven't? Or maybe you're working on it now?
I would love to recreate Disney World in Minecraft.
Hey, I love that.
That would be cool.
I'm a big Disney fan. I've been going to Disney my whole life, and I would love to build Disney in Minecraft.
I love that. Did you? I very barely saw it. I saw that. I know Scar did a little bit of his own rendition of that. You got a little bit of inspiration from that, or you're like, nah,
I did.
I'm bigger and better?
We created Disneyland, and it definitely gave me some inspiration.
I love that.
To recreate it.
Yeah. No, I really do love that because there's a lot that goes into that. And I think what's even cooler, and you're going to find this out, and you probably already have, but you can get an idea from it, but there's like no set standard, right? It's you go into it, you have an idea, and you just keep going with it, and it gives you a bunch of freedom to just do what you want and what you have in your mindset, which makes it more fun. So,
yeah.
Did I? Oh, Dirtin, we did your question about the your big project here. I wanted to pull up some of your images really quickly before I move on to Anderson. If you want to discuss.
Sure.
I'm loving this. It looks like you like your floors. And I'll tell you what, I am really loving this one right here. This is nice. It is the giant red heart with the copper blocks.
Yeah, so I don't do interiors. It's not what Durden does. So I challenged myself. There should be a photo that like both the other one. That's how big my storage room is, and so I was like, I gotta put a floor down. I gotta stop just putting in stone or something to that effect, right? So I was like, well, let's challenge myself. So I was on stream one day, and we built this floor, and it turned out way cooler than I thought it was ever going to turn out.
Yeah.
So trying to push myself into doing interiors and trying to get the floors right and stuff. But yeah, I fell in love with that floor, to be honest.
Yeah, that is. I love floor designs too because I don't know. Like you said, for me, interiors are not what I like. They're not what I'm good at. So it's always good to find a good, fun pattern that we just like and it works out with them.
Right. Yeah.
You nailed this heart one though with the copper. This is sick.
Yeah, I like the other side. Is about the same, but the heart's the same. But instead of copper, I use deep slate underneath to give it just some contrast. So yeah, and some of that copper will oxidize, some of it won't. Some of it's wax, so it won't be. It'll. It's not done in that photo, but yeah, I think it turned out pretty cool.
Yeah, I really do like this a lot. That's pretty cool. I need to experiment more with the copper bulbs as well. They're such a great new block. And of course, I just, since being a little MIA from Minecraft, sadly the copper bulbs were part of where I need to just use them.
Right.
So, because they're a fun new block. I'm really enjoying the way they look. So. Anderson, did you have anything you want to share? If not, did you want to talk a little bit about your favorite build that you've ever done? And do you have a project that you've been always wanting?
So the funny thing is, I don't really build structures or things like that. I'm a redstone guy.
Yeah.
So, everybody's built their own auto sorter, everybody's built loaders and unloaders and all kinds of crazy things. So, I mean, everything I've built has always been something that's been built before, just differently.
Right.
So I can't say I really have anything that's my favorite that I've built. A most recent project that I built was a mob sorter with 0 redstone.
Oh.
So using entirely Minecraft pixel height mechanics, I was able to sort all generic Minecraft mobs that spawn during the night.
Okay.
Using only water and blocks, no other entities.
That's cool.
So, I mean, things like that. I enjoy puzzles, so I like being able to solve those kinds of puzzles. So, being able to create just an entire mob sorter using 0 redstone. I think I used glass, water, and some miscellaneous blocks to change the height, such as sea pickles and iron. What is it? We've got them in here, the chains, the campfires, things like that to change the different heights. And just simple puzzles like that I love to build.
Yeah.
As far as a build that I want to build as a big build or a dream build, I kind of want to piggyback on Sherb's there and steal his idea. I want to build that.
Yeah. No, it's a really,
like a cool
really
build. I would love to, build something fun like that people could use.
I also love, one of my Redstoners is in chat, and one of the things that I loved is this season on Movement, he is basing with a builder because of, he'll build, but he's such a redstone that they decided to team up, and he's like, I'm just going to do all the redstone, we're going to make all these cool contraptions, farms, do all this, and then you build around it to your heart's content. And I've always kind of loved that idea, especially when I also think he's building like a mini version of Decked Out at their base. And I've always just seen it as fun when maybe you even take an idea like Sherbert's, where somebody has that build aspect. I called it a mini. Listen, I haven't seen it yet, Doc. Listen here, sir. No, but their base is a full perimeter. It is massive. It is crazy ridiculous. But yeah, no, I'm curious because I have a lot of redstoning friends. And I always love, do you have a redstone contraption that you enjoy building, whether it being creative or survival, that maybe you figured out yourself? So maybe instead of using the tutorial that you saw on YouTube or whatnot, you kind of have your own version of it. Is there something redstone-y like that you're just obsessed with, always trying to make better?
So my thing is, I don't have one that I've built myself. I actually like to take everybody's redstone and take it apart.
There you go.
So I found recently, and it violates Minecraft terms of service, sort of. We'll just go with what the mechanics of the redstone is. It's a RNG output, which for those that understand what RNG does, you can kind of guess what my build would do. But basically allowed you to have a random outcome based on your interaction with the redstone. And in Minecraft that has very set outputs, it's very rare to come up with a random output. So it was really cool to play with the RNG that comes from Minecraft's core mechanics without modifying anything or cheating anything.
Right.
The core mechanics to come up with RNG inside of Minecraft. Right.
And that's kind of cool too, because I knowing what you're talking about, because I've always wanted similar stuff within the game. It's or even just making a game that does allow things to be RNG based, and kind of break that down and understand what can be done differently or better in the situation. Yeah, it's a cool thing to break down. I love that. That got nothing wrong with that at all.
That question reminded me. Oh, I know what build I'm proudest of. Dang it!
Did you build a giant cookie?
No. I think one of the builds I'm most proud of is there were builds that you never really saw, but heard.
Oh yeah.
The Halloween district on Autocraft.
Yep.
I put in phasmophobia sounds. I recorded my kids making creepy voices. And in that, I had a house that was entirely made out of stairs and walls, so that there were no solid blocks in it. And I brought a ghast to the overworld, put it in a minecart, so that when you walked up to the house, the minecart would trigger and the whole ghast would clip through the wall.
Yep.
And then do a ghast noise. And it was such just a fun Halloween jump scare. And it took so much effort to build a building that wouldn't suffocate the ghast.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, and I always love hearing fun stuff like that too, because those builds are just as fun and cool as a builder or whatnot. Because like you said, we said this at the very, very beginning of the podcast. Everybody enjoys this game sometimes for different reasons. Yes, it's a game. That's a sandbox game that you can kind of go into, really run around with and do a lot of different things. But sometimes we do have a category of, you have that player that just wants to do redstone or just wants to build, or heck, we've got people on the server that just love the resource gathering. They like to get on, they like to do their mining. I think one of the very first seasons of an SMP that I was on, we had a person that they loved shops. They liked grinding the materials for shops, and they loved helping other people accompany with their shops because they just loved that aspect of the game. So it's really, really cool to see and hear the different inputs on stuff like that because, All right, so the next question's a little bit untraditional.
Oh, next question, change seats.
Next question, change seats.
I always sat by you.
Once again, Sherb sitting the closest to me, meaning he gets to go first.
Yay.
Sure, you're not very good at this.
Or maybe am I exactly good at this?
Oh my gosh. Well, so I have a
Two
question.
of them. 2 eyes.
Nope.
You don't have 2 eyes?
So
What
I don't
happened?
know. Well,
Sorry.
every time I hear somebody say this, it reminds me of my uncle's bar story, and I'm just like, now I have to tell it because whatever. No, my uncle used to be like, no, I went to a bar with a friend one day, and we're just sitting there having conversation, and whatnot, and he randomly goes, hey, I bet $20 I can bite my eye. He's like, what? All right, yeah, sure. So he slaps a 20 on the table, and guy removes his fake eye and bites it. Well, a couple minutes goes by, and he goes, well, I bet you $20 I can bite my other eye. And my uncle's like, well, I know he's not blind, so sure, I'll take my money back. Guy takes out his dentures and bites his other eye. I don't know why I think of that story all the time, but yeah.
Good.
So, Sherbert, if you... Well, first of all, I want you to think of a celebrity, all right?
Okay, got one.
Can be anybody,
Okay.
all right? What I want you to do is I want you to take that celebrity and I want you to build them a house with 3 blocks. What 3 blocks are you choosing based off of the celebrity that you picked?
Ooh, definitely brown terracotta.
Okay.
And goodness. Lots of brown.
Who?
Oh, you want me to tell you who? You only asked the block. You said pick a celebrity. You never said tell you the celebrity.
Oh, I mean, well, you can pick the blocks first and then tell us the celebrity. How about that?
Okay. I was just answering the questions I was asked. I listened to the statement. So, yeah, definitely brown, terracotta. You know, we'd probably go with a mixture of brown wool, brown terracotta, and we'd need some sort of metallic, maybe smooth sandstone.
Okay.
Well, couldn't get slabs and stairs for
So now who do you got?
that. Nathan Fillion, brown coats for life.
Oh,
He was he's currently on the Rookie.
right.
But he was on Firefly, which is my favorite team.
Oh, yeah, yes. Nice. Yeah. All right.
It had to be a tie between him or Alan Tudyk.
Okay. I'm glad I actually at least remember the name of who you had. My dad was a big Firefly fan, so. Durton, what about you?
I think we're going gold blocks.
Okay.
We're going, I think, amethyst blocks, and we're going. Let's go smooth quartz blocks.
A very, very loud build.
Yeah. Because
So who do you got?
the only person that popped on my head first was Shaq. So those are like Laker colors.
I love that. It just got the yellow, the gold, and purple. I love that. Oh, I love that. Love me some Shaq. What about you, Husky?
It's like black concrete, maybe some red wool, and something pink.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
Lady Gaga.
Oh, I can see a Lady Gaga out of that. I love that. I love that. What about you, Anderson?
All right, plot twist. Does it have to be a real celebrity?
No.
Okay. So if I can go fictitious, I'm going with powdered cyan concrete.
Okay.
cyan wool, and I can't decide between glazed cyan terracotta or just cyan terracotta.
Mhm.
So, yeah. I actually think that's actually supposed to be light blue. My character is the so lovable Sully from Monsters Inc.
Oh, nice.
I love that.
Ah, who doesn't
I
love the
like-
guy that wants to change the world?
I love Sully.
Oh,
That's such a good pick. Oh, that's a good one. So moving on, now we're getting into the kind of maybe more serious kind of questions here.
Oh, look at the time. I gotta go.
Yeah.
Sherb, we gotta be serious now.
Challenge not accepted.
Um. So
I need a bowling thread.
let's see if I can find exactly
Oh, it's to
where
the
it
left.
was.
To the left. I got you.
Me?
Wait, I thought
Yeah,
it was over there.
Oh, is it over there? I thought it was to the left.
No, I got it.
You got
Sherb,
it?
we are not invited back.
It's the last one. What are they gonna do? Close the
Right.
server?
Oh, listen, I'll tell you what. I keep threatening Rogue to put Sherbert and I on the same team for Last Life because it would be absolute utter chaos.
I don't know if you want that because I don't care as much about the competition.
No, neither do I.
No,
Oh,
that's
then
why.
Yeah, no, let's do it.
Yeah,
you,
that's
me, and Dirtin.
yeah,
we got
that's
this.
why it was so great. We didn't care.
Hey, that's
Hey, we're losing. Oh well.
honestly, that's what I like last season. Like the people that I had, like we cared just enough to get our stuff right. We got a couple of villagers, we got our stuff, but for the most part, we just caused chaos and had a good time. So
Yeah, no, I'm going to be a lot less careful next time now that I know what to what to expect.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, people got to donate to save your life, and if you're
Correct.
not dying, how are you raising money for charity?
Right. Well, that too.
Anyway.
So Elk had a question that I really liked that he put in chat a while back. We did it the last couple of weeks, and it's been a really, really good question. Basically, it's a little bit more of a serious question, but the question is, what is your why? Like, why are you participating in Guild Rush? And why would you want to take part in a charity event like Guild Rush? Sherbert, why don't we start off with you?
Oh goodness. I feel like I've been pretty vocal about that, but yeah. So I had my 7th heart surgery last year. 5 of those heart surgeries were done while I was a child, and so I really resonate with Gamers Outreach mission to bring a sense of play and normalcy to children in hospitals. Because these are some of the hardest times. You know, a lot of times as your kid, you're in the hospital, you don't fully understand what's exactly happening. Sure, they may explain some of what's happening for like the major procedures, but like the whole concept of 2 to 3 times a day, a nurse has to come draw your blood, and so you spend all day, sure, watching cable TV, kind of bored out of your mind, waiting for a nurse to come in and stab you.
Right.
And I mean, it's also hard on the parents and everything. But I remember, well, we didn't have gamers outreach carts. There were some of the hospitals I went to were major hospitals that had some form of slapped together gaming cart. It was kind of kind of bulky and in the way. But during recovery after the procedure was over, they were able to bring it in, and suddenly I found myself, while I didn't want to have procedures, I kind of looked forward to the concept of being able to go to the hospital because I knew my mom wouldn't be telling me that I played too many video games.
Right.
And so it became something that I dreaded a lot less, if that made sense.
Yeah.
And it, something distract you between all those hard moments instead of just sitting there waiting for it. Um, I know this last hospital stay I had this year, or I stayed for about a year and a half, or a year and a half. Whoa, a week and a half.
Yep.
Um,
Be a while.
and because not a year and a half. Goodness. Um, and because I knew what was happening, I was able to bring my computer and stream from there, play video games, and that was mentally so much easier to deal with. Um, so I mean, I will always. I've been thinking about continuing some form of gamers outreach campaign throughout the year, just as a minor thing that that
Yeah.
we promoted, just because it's such a good cause. Um, it seems like a simple thing, but it really makes all the difference in the world, and even to the parents, like when their kids are less stressed and thinking about the video games or TV or whatever they're able to do to distract themselves, it allows the parents a little bit of relief to kind of decompress and worry about their own self-care as well as the child.
Right.
So I can't say enough how much I love this charity, and am so grateful to all of the people that are willing to open their pocketbooks and help this out. It's such a good cause.
Yeah, no, and I knew you'd have some good stuff to say because I know we've had this conversation before, even before Field Rush and stuff like that. And
Well, because I also had the experience last year where I wasn't able to take
correct,
any form of video games, and I was there for 11 days,
right,
and emotionally that was. I don't cry very often, but I'm tearing up just thinking about it. That was really hard. By the time
yeah,
the last day rolled in, they wanted to keep me a little bit longer. The doctor every day was, the doctor would come in and ask, how am I doing? We're going to go for another day, and we never knew when I was leaving. And without, let's be honest, I don't watch. Who watches cable network TV anymore?
correct. And I was just about to say
And that's
because
all that they have in the hospitals.
I was in 9 days for my first surgery, and I wanted to have my PS4 hooked up, and they just did not have an easy way to hook it up there. And I laughed to myself because I love sports. I know you know that, but I was amazed at how much ESPN just repeats itself on a daily. Like I did not realize. Like I was watching the same thing on ESPN like 5 times a day, and I'm like, well, this is
Yeah.
so. Yeah, you're right. It got so overwhelming and so boring. So
Yeah. Well,
also,
I was. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I
I,
like I
wa-
said, I love it.
I want to put an idea in your head. I met, and this goes to each and every single one of you guys as well, and anybody listening. I met a person recently. I say in the Balatro community, they just happened to be in Balatro at the time. Named Taco, and their entire channel is based on charity. They're very fortunate that their entire reason of why they go live is charity. Bits, subs, everything. Um, However, it's not that he pushes people to do that. He inspires people to try new things for charity that you don't necessarily think about on the surface. And I always thought this was a really, really cool idea. Because let's say you want to do some fun stuff to raise money throughout the year, but let's be real. Maybe our chats and our channels are a little bit smaller, and we don't like pushing that as much as we do sometimes. So he had the idea of, well, maybe some other creators. So he would come up with the idea of inviting creators to do certain events. So let's say you take part in an event, and when you take part in an event, the fee is $10. Instead of you paying $10, you're actually donating $10 to charity. And next thing you know, you have an incredible incredibly fun game night with 8 or 10 creators, and you've raised $100. And that's not something you do like every week or whatnot, but it would be something that you could do like once a month. It also could be something different where you are on a hardcore event to beat the dragon, and you're on a server with, well, it wouldn't be hardcore, I guess, but you'd be on a server with maybe 8 other creators, and you would say, all right, every time I die, I'm going to shove $5 into the charity and I'll cap it at $20. And you just have this incredibly fun night of just doing some fun stuff like that. And I've been thinking about that for a while because we've been doing a lot of different charity events here and there with Guild Rush and everything else. But I always loved that idea of just reaching out to other creators and getting together a little bit for a charity cause like that. And you can also have chats, have that opportunity to be like, hey guys, this is your opportunity if you want to also take part tonight. And treat it a little bit like CCI, right? So yeah, that was just something that, like I said, I came across recently. Like I said, Taco was doing $10 runs. Well, basically what would happen is each creator would throw in $10, and then whoever won actually got the jackpot that would go into the charity, but in reality, at the very end, so different like fun ideas. Because I love the idea that you guys have been coming forward and wanting to do more, and sometimes it's just creating those ideas. So I love that. Anyways, not to get too distracted, Dirt.
My why.
What is your
my,
why?
My why. I'm gonna break this question up into two different things. The first part of it is why. It's for the kids, right? I was fortunate enough. I've never had to spend a night in the hospital. Really, the same with my kids. But my brother cannot say that, and he had to use like a kind of a Ronald McDonald House. But the hospital didn't have anything for those kiddos. So, an organization that will come in and let content creators like Sherb and I, who are complete lunatics when we're supposed to be good, come in and act a fool, and people donate money, which just makes us act even more crazy, right? To help these kiddos have a better time in the hospital instead of, like Sherb said, nobody watches TV anymore. Nobody has time for commercials. Nobody has time for any of that. And then the really cool part about it is, so the goat cart that got delivered from the last season there in Topeka, Kansas, that's actually the hospital that my brother's kiddo was in. So that's really cool that that's going on. The second part of how I'll break this question up, the why, is the guys that we're playing with, right? All these content creators come together. We know that we could get subs and bits and stuff for ourselves, but that's not what we're here for. We're giving it away, right? And in my second day job, I'm a politician, so this gives me that I give all my money away when it comes to that job. So I get to go on everybody else's stream and cause chaos, and they're 100% happy with it, right? So it's kind of a two-part question. Obviously, we're here for the kids, but this is a community that Dragonfelt has built, and everybody has built around these kind of two events that they run. So I'm just happy to be here.
Yep. No, I love that. So true. Husky, what about you?
My why is I do it for the kids. It's an amazing organization, foundation that helps give these kids some normalcy and be a kid while they're in the hospital and have fun, play video games, and keep their mind at ease for what they're in the hospital for. Absolutely amazing foundation. And to be on here with all these other fellow creators and work together and have fun and raise money for this amazing organization. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and I think, like I said again, it's been amazing to see the progress of what all of you guys have been able to do. 40 creators or whatnot. I think there's 40 roughly of you guys on here, and to come up with a number that you guys have this season, it's amazing the amount of effort that you guys have put into it. It's awesome. Anderson.
Hi, that's me. So I've been in this community a little while. So to better explain that, why I do this, those that know me or have played with me know a lot about my personal life. So you guys are going to get to learn the quick and dirty of my health concerns here.
Right.
I currently am a kidney transplant recipient. I spent 6 years waiting for a new kidney. I was on dialysis 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year for 5 years. I did that at home, and then a year I did it in center. I have over 4,000 hours hooked up to a dialysis machine.
Wow.
It is the most isolating experience you can have as a patient. And I'm not saying that specific treatment, but to be a patient and to be isolated from your friends, your family, from the world, and any sense of normal life, it's a struggle. So for an organization to be willing to give these kids something to connect them to even other kids around the world and make them feel even just a little bit less alone makes all the difference. And that's why I'm here.
Yeah, I was telling this to Sherb a while ago, actually, and I think last week was, it's not cool that some of us have personal stories, but it does make, I guess what I'm trying to say, it does make what we're doing, we understand, I guess, if that makes sense, where it's going, how it's being used, and what it means to those people, more importantly.
Yeah, the general difference that just 40 people causing chaos on a Minecraft server and raising funds to make a difference in so many kids' lives it's such a great feeling. And it's nice to know that many of us, it's sad to know, but nice to know that many of us have a personal connection to such a great cause.
Yeah. And I think the other half of it too, and this is the part that I don't always think you guys think about, but think about how this got started. Obviously, see a need, fill a need, right? We've heard and seen that our entire lives sometimes. And we always kind of talk about Hermitcraft, right? X saying, hey, if you want to be on Hermitcraft, just go make your own Hermitcraft. And sometimes, we look at what the Hermits have done for Gamers Outreach, and we go, well, we can do that too. And it's so funny because I actually had this conversation with Trevor last year. But it doesn't matter if you set a goal of $50, $100, $500, $1,000, $5,000. It doesn't matter what your goal is. You may think, oh, I only made $30. And, go, oh, well, that person made $1,000. And it can be overwhelming at first, but that doesn't matter. If you focus on that group aspect of it, the fact that 40 of you got together and raised nearly $30,000 at this together. That's the part that I feel like doesn't get seen enough. And I don't mean on the part of hey, look at me, I raise a lot of money for charity. I see it from a standpoint of that's inspiring. Other creators on this network of Twitch or YouTube or whatever is going to see that, and they're going to be inspired to do the same. Because let's face it, none of us are hermits, right? We don't have millions of followers and whatnot, and it's easy for us to go, we can't make a difference. When in reality, that's not true. And you guys have proven this entire event. And it's just been really, really, really cool to see everybody work together and come along with that. And I've really, really enjoyed that aspect of it. You guys have absolutely nailed it. I do heavily encourage, I'm very fortunate that my workplace, our normal workplace, I work at a real estate office. And one of the things that they do is that every sale, no matter who the agent is, $100 comes out of that commission and goes to our charity. And we happen to work, like our charity is a children's hospital in our state. So when we were doing stuff for Last Life for Extra Life, I actually go through the same campaign manager as my work. And because of that, I was able to go and get a really, really tour of the children's hospital, how it kind of works, how it runs down. And because of that, I was able to see firsthand these go-karts as well. I had somebody from Gamers Outreach there that worked in the hospital, talking through them and showing them off. And I got to see some of the kids play them while they were there. It's not like it's one of those things that we want to see, right? But we want to see those kids happy in that atmosphere and giving them the best possible that they can have in that sucky situation. So being able to go and explore that was enlightening. It was motivated. And I know some people on the server have been able to do that. I know Rogue, Alad, and Rocket have been able to do that. And yeah. So we're almost ready to wrap it up here. Before I wrapped it up, I figured we would end it on maybe a little bit more of a fun note, because I know, Anderson, you've kind of mentioned that you're not a builder. But I do like to ask the question of, what are your 3 favorite blocks in Minecraft? And I'm gonna preface it and say your favorite blocks, because for somebody likes Anderson, who maybe not builds, I'm sure you still have a favorite block in the game, whether it's a redstone block or whatnot. So, Husky, why don't we start with you? And I'd love to hear what your 3 favorite blocks are and why.
Gold, amethyst, maybe dark oak wood.
Very good choices. I love a good dark oak wood, I'm gonna be honest. It's a great color palette to work with. The fact that you also snuck in amethyst makes me happy. Amethyst doesn't get talked about enough. I love that block. It's such a fun block to work with, and it's just, yeah. Sherbert?
Oh, I mean, I'm gonna go Hopper.
Sure.
Was the first one that came to my mind. Oh, because that just opened up a world of possibilities.
Yeah.
I think spruce is probably my favorite wood.
Yeah.
I find myself trying to stray away from spruce because I'm like, I always build with spruce. I should do something different. But
right.
It I don't know. It just seems so good.
Well, I mean, Tree said a couple weeks ago, he's like, spruce. Like, it's my comfort block. It's what I know best. And there's nothing wrong with that, So.
And I want to apologize. Someone got generous.
Yeah, I can tell. I love
it. So, okay, that was 2. I'm going to go with comparator.
Comparator, okay.
Just so many versatile things to make things happen. I love the fact that it can detect things through a block so that you can hide redstone in a build. And I love making beautiful builds that have redstone in them, but you don't see it happening.
Sherbert, how long does this last?
10 minutes.
Perfect. I'll be back to you. Anderson, what are your 3 favorite blocks?
Well, mine. It's both an easy and difficult question. Mine all came with one big update. So I love Skulk.
Yep, good one.
Only because it creates such a diverse color in of itself. But then it also introduces you to Skulk sensors, which wireless redstone, who doesn't want that?
Correct.
How you scare your friends if they can see the trap. And then that leads to the Shrieker, which has my best buddy who gives the best hugs in the game. You can visit him down in any ancient city.
Love wins.
Yeah, they give the best hugs.
They do. They do. They're so great that you have to end up, going back down to visit them because he squeeze you down so hard.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Rocket's Warden Savior?
Oh no. Shiver, listen, I gotta get Dirtin's choice in so I can come back to you. Dirtin, what would be your 3 favorite blocks?
I was gonna say Skulk because that can make some really cool fog effects. It could make some really good ceilings. I love deep slate bricks, so this build is awesome to me. Yeah.
Yep.
And then my third one would be a lectern because I really like taking advantage of villagers.
Yeah. No, it's just a good looking block too.
Yeah.
So, for the last question, I figured it would be appropriate to ask Sherbert first before his audio runs out. But the last question of the podcast, as usual,
Yes.
and Sherbert will have you lead the way. If you could describe your personality with one Minecraft block, what would it be?
Oh, goodness gracious. My personality with one Minecraft block. That's a hard question. Honestly, not having any prep, I'm gonna say cake because it's fun, it's festive, and completely unnecessary.
Do we know what happens if you actually try to sing with this filter on?
What would I think?
I don't know. You sang some song on Autocraft one day about.
Oh, I can sing that to you. You're frigid and disgusting. I loathe your every breath. Nope, I don't remember the lyrics. Pause. I'll find them.
I am laughing too hard.
I'm going to move on to Husky really quick, Sherber. If you could describe your personality as one Minecraft block, what would it be?
I have no idea. Amethyst, because I love crystals. And amethyst is my favorite crystal.
It's a good color, too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big purple fan.
I love purple.
Yeah. Is it your favorite color, or?
It is my favorite
second?
color.
Yeah.
It's
Mine's...
funny how everything aligned. My team being Order of the Amethyst being purple.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I love it when stuff like that works out, like little small details. Last year, Math Girl and I were on the same team, and we were both like, my favorite color is orange, but my second favorite color is teal, and then purple, ironically. But yeah, we were like a gold /orange. just because we were both like huge Orange people. Dirtin, I found you. You can just.
If
What was your choice?
I had to pick a block that, so I really like playing on SMPs, probably more than my hardcore world. So I think if I had to pick a block that summed me up, it would be an observer. They're pointless by themselves, but with other things around them, they do work.
I love that.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. Anderson? Or
Well-
faithful Melissa?
I must say, well, in that case, Dirtin, I can be your TNT, and we can cause some chaos.
We're down.
Sweet, perfect match.
I think somebody did pick TNT. I was like, it's a great choice.
I'll be
That's
your
what I'd
friend,
say.
Steel.
Like, we're just nothing but trouble. TNT is a blast by itself, but when you add redstone, then you got even more fun.
Yeah. Yep. Nope. I really do. I love that because. Yep. Sherbert,
I've got you.
can you can you meow like a cat?
Meow.
Good enough.
Meow. Are you ready for your song, SeaDubbs?
I guess we're ready for the song. Yes, Sherbert. Enlighten us with your song.
You're frigid and demanding. I shudder at your call. Whenever you come near me, my flesh begins to crawl. But sometimes there are moments I'm not repelled at all. Maybe you're not the worst thing ever. You're utterly disgusting. I loathe your manly stink. I see your mouth start moving, and man, I need a drink. And then from out of nowhere, I'll look at you and think, maybe you're not the worst thing ever. I'll only do half
Awesome.
of the song.
Well, I was saying I was gonna laugh if your filter turned off like halfway through the song, and we just heard you.
That's funny.
Well, guys, I really wanted to just thank you guys for being here, accommodating the time change. I also want to thank you for being in the event, period. Like I said, the amount of work that you guys have done in this event have been amazing. I know the mods have appreciated it. Once again, thank you, mods, for everything that you guys have done. The event is going to continue to just get better. And yeah, I appreciate you guys being here and taking the time to be here. It's good getting to know you guys a little bit better. Well, lots of fun there. And yeah, I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Like I said, Rogue and I will be doing a little bit of a server tour / guild hall reveal / I'm going to be kind of going through and just kind of taking a look. I've been really trying to be blind as much as I possibly can to the server. I can't say I'm going to have time to run dungeons tomorrow, but I am excited to maybe potentially watch some people do some dungeons tomorrow on that same show. So we'll see what we have in store, and there should be a lot of good fun vibes going on as well. So, but yeah, no, I really do appreciate you guys being here. You guys are free to go and continue with whatever tasks you guys are going. Thank you guys for putting up with me. And this will probably go down as the
best podcast ever.
Absolutely. And we totally behaved and stayed where we were supposed to.
Yeah, best for last.
Yeah.
I am so glad the four of you guys got put on the same week. So yeah,
And we're back.
take care, guys. Have a good night, and
Thank you, SeaDubbs.
yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you
you.
guys again for all of your work. So take care.
Apparently now
So
I have to
nice
go
to meet
trap
you all.
all of the animals ever.
Yes,
Time
go
to
have fun with the
rescue
animals.
Rocket.
Take care, guys.
What was it called? Wither Day.
Nope. Oh, jeez. I thought you were a drop creeper. I mean, you kind of are, but like.
Yeah,
not-
technically.
Not like that though.
No.
Dude, I have no idea where this last guy is.
Neither do I. He's
I don't
off
know
my. He's not.
Gotta be
Oh,
up
hey,
somewhere.
Anderson's here.
Who are we
And
looking
so
for?
is Dirtin.
We're just looking for the last
We
wither.
got one left. We don't know where it is. Also, there
Marco.
is a VC that y'all can join.
Marco. Oh,
Marco!
Wither.
I hear creepers. That's what I hear. Lots
been here,
and
though.
lots of creepers.
you hear me?
Anderson, you're running around with MM's face on.
Oh, do I still have that on?
Yeah, I
sure
took
do.
a double take. I was like, what is MM doing
I was
here?
like, wait a second, MM's camping.
If you guys haven't watched or you need to watch the podcast, you need